Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a website audit for Dylan, and his website is called Podcast Recapped.
We think this is a really cool idea for a website. It recaps really popular podcasts, and as two people that listen to podcasts all the time, we think this is a really cool website idea. Dylan entered to win for a free website audit over on our website. If you're interested, click the link in the description. We pick a winner every month, so it could be your lucky day.
For this audit, we're going to be using our website audit checklist.
This checklist goes through important metrics of your website, including the design and technical details, and it shows you what is working well and what are some things that you can improve upon. To snag a copy of our website audit checklist, click the link in the description and you can use it to evaluate your own website. Okay, so we're on podcastrecapped.org, and let's just go through some of the design things in the audit. Let's just get started with the clear navigation on all pages. So yeah, I think the navigation is fine, but I am noticing that some of the links don't work. So if you click on podcast recaps, it doesn't go anywhere. And I think the recommended products doesn't go anywhere either. So definitely want to fix that. But I like the categories, and I think that, all of that is good. We just need to make sure that any links we do have go somewhere.
So we can go ahead on the spreadsheet right here, and if you just put an X in any of these fields, it's automatically going to add the color. So in this case, I would say that there's a few things missing.
Not a total fail, but we just need some improvements.
All right, so next one.
Prominent call to action on website. So this is basically a blog. So I would say the call to action would probably be just clicking on the different recaps to go to blog posts. I don't see really any other call to actions. Maybe if you wanted to improve this, you could add a button underneath the excerpt that says read more, something like that, just so people have a very clear understanding of what they're supposed to do.
So same thing, I would say caution right here. Header logo links to homepage. This is something that we like to make sure that this links to the home, and it does help, honestly, a lot of times if someone doesn't know that this might be clickable, having a home button is not a bad idea either. So we could see right here when you do click on home, it did go to an old home page. So you may want to look into this. You're probably in development right now or something, but yeah, the home page here doesn't link the same.
Yeah, and I honestly like this layout much better than the actual home page. The only thing I would say on this is that we need to add some more spacing in that hero area because it's pretty close. The logo is almost covering that heading text, and the images are very blurry if you scroll down, and that's just because you're using low res images, and in the post widget it's pulling in the featured image. They're not high res enough. If you upload larger images that are formatted for that area, that's going to look a lot better. But overall, I think that this layout for the homepage is much better than the other one.
The other feed, yeah, I agree. So the header logo links to the homepage. I mean, yeah, that did work. So I'll put that back as pass for sure. Okay, and just like she said, white space, you could work on that a little bit for sure. So the next thing was what? Copy?
Yeah, for this one, I don't really think that necessarily applies because, again, this is a blog and it's just recapping a podcast. So I think that if this was a website selling something, it would be a little bit different. So I think your content is totally fine.
Yeah, and I would add, I did notice that you have your call to action for your newsletter here. We would recommend add that to the homepage as well. So it's not just always in the blog feed. So that'll be real easy. Just copy that over. I did click on a few of yours, and I noticed that this one is timestamped, so that's really good because for SEO reasons, and people will search these things. So that's going to help the more content you have, the better in your blog post for sure. Because I think of some of your other ones, just had a few kind of like bullet points. This one has...
I think overall the content is good. One thing that I'm noticing though is that the formatting between the blog posts is different. So this formatting had a different font, and that could just be because you're copying and pasting from Word. Sometimes when you do that, it adds in its own formatting and messes up the website. So in order to fix that in WordPress, if you do paste as text, that usually solves the problem.
All right, so we'll say that passes right here. Communicates value and trust.
I would say that's kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of NA, because you're not really selling anything, so you're not... We just put NA.
Unacceptable pop-ups. I didn't see any pop-ups, so that would be an NA.
NA, yeah. And what I mean by that is you don't want to have a bunch of pop-ups that, you know, is forcing the user to do some sort of interaction, because that's bad for user experience and or for Google. So if you have these weird pop-ups and you have to agree to stuff, that could hurt you.
I would say the overuse of stock images doesn't really apply either. No. You're just putting up images of the actual podcast itself, so
yeah,
I wouldn't worry about that. Mobile friendly, let's take a look and see.
In order to check if a page is mobile friendly, you can hop over into this tool right here. This is made by Google, so it's just search.google/test mobile friendly, and I'll leave a link to this in the description below. But you basically would just pop in a URL right here, and it's going to crawl your website and just give you any sort of weird errors it might see. And as you can see, everything looks good right here. Page is mobile friendly, and you can see right here it gives you some more information, and you can even view how the Google crawl has seen your website. So this is how it's going to look right here.
So it is mobile friendly, but I will say that there are issues with this because I'm not seeing the header when on mobile at all.
Yeah, so you might be editing the home page right now or the header. But yeah, you're going to want to make sure you look into that. It does disappear.
Yeah, if I pull this up on my phone, that's what I would see. And there's no logo, there's no menu. So I can look at the different blogs and get my podcast recaps, but I can't navigate at the top. So that's a definite problem.
Yeah, you want to fix that for sure. So it's a pass and a fail at the same time. So we'll just say caution because your code is mobile friendly, but you need, like I said, add the header and everything, make sure it looks good on mobile devices. And the next one is just your favicon. You do have that, so that's that little icon right here. That makes it so inside Google search, it will show up as a rich snippet, so you're good to go there. Let me just put that to pass. So now if we scroll down in the audit, you're going to see that we have a section right here for your blogs. And so your website is a blog, so this does pertain to you. The very first thing is you want to make sure that you're consistent with your content. And I would say, yeah, that's a pass that you are consistent, so you keep adding more content. It wouldn't hurt to have timestamps on here, so I know with an Elementor you can add that pretty easily.
One thing I'm noticing too is that there is a leave a comment link, but if you go down to the bottom of the page, are you actually able to leave a comment?
Yeah, I did see that before. I saw it on a few of them.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that if you have the leave a comment link on the homepage, that you can leave a comment on every post. You might just have this particular post, no comments on it, so you would want to change that.
And I do see down here you have your related topics right here, and they are timestamped. So I would go ahead and make sure that everywhere you have your feed, always have your timestamp. So it's good to be consistent. You don't want to have it where some have timestamps, some don't. And just like she said, if you have a comment or not comment, have that right here as well. So I did notice some of them were comments. So you're going to need to go ahead into your WordPress because I think this template has comments on the bottom, if I remember. I went on a few of them and it did have comments. So
yeah.
It's not consistent, so we were running into some issues.
Yeah, there's not any consistency with the layout. I think this layout for the single post looks pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
I would go with this. I think this is much better than the other one.
This is a lot stronger because, you have your video at the top, so that helps out a lot. And then, your layout is good right here. So, yeah, I think that you're, in the process of still updating this website, but if we were to make a recommendation, it's this layout right here for your blog post.
Yeah, you have your social sharing, you have
Yeah.
tags. It looks a lot
The related
cleaner.
post.
It's a lot easier to read.
You have your recent post and related. So I'm not sure if this is like your theme doing this, but only choose one or the other. Don't have it where it's like this. This is a little confusing for the user.
Yeah.
So get rid of one of them, but the one up here is much better, I would say. So we would say that is consistent. You do have your sharing, and your posts are categorized.
You have the categories at the top, which is
Yeah.
great.
It's good to have if people don't know, you can add some breadcrumbs up here as well, which kind of makes it easier for Google and the user to go back. So if you do have certain categories, you can add that right up here. So this right here is your author, date, and your time. So these right here are your categories, I see. So when the user does click on that, it does have category. And then right here, business entrepreneur. So I recommend on your archive or your category pages, have a template that looks like all the other pages as well. So
Yeah.
whenever you are doing these type of things, consistency is key, and you want to make sure that all of your layouts look the same, whether you're on a home feed or on your category feed. And the next part of the audit is technical SEO and speed. So this is stuff that I really enjoy doing, and we're going to go through these and just kind of show you what I found out. So I did find that you did fail and you passed here. So let me show you what this is. So if you can go to PageSpeed Insights tool, and I just put in your URL right here. And this is going to give you a desktop and a mobile score. And as you can see, when you click on mobile, you just want to look right here underneath performance, and you're at like a 45. So most people probably don't know this, but when you do a mobile speed test through Google PageSpeed Insights, you see right here where my mouse is, it's slowing your connection down to a 4G. So it's loading up your website as if it's on a 4G. So that's why a lot of times there's a huge difference between your desktop score and your mobile score. Me personally, I don't really put too much weight into the mobile scores because they're slowing you down. So a lot of times what I like to look at is your desktop score and then kind of go from there. So as you can see, you're at 84 out of 100, which is not bad. So actually that rate there is caution not pass. Anything above 90, you can give yourself the green pass score. But right now you're at 84. And within this tool, they give you a lot of good information. So the biggest thing usually when you run a WordPress or an Elementor website like this is you start to get JavaScript recommendations and CSS. So you can see right here, it's telling you that there's unused JavaScript. And in most cases, there's really not much you can do. You can see right here, it tells you that it's coming from Google Tag Manager. So there's nothing you can do with that. And within here, it's just some Elementor stuff. So you're actually pretty good. I'm not sure how you have everything on the back end, if you have caching installed or not, but that can help increase the score even more. I put a lot more weight onto your GT metric score. So I put that into GT metrics, ran it from San Antonio, Texas. And as you can see, your website is fully loaded at 1.8 seconds. So that's a number that I like to take a look at, is make sure that's under 2 to 3 seconds. If you can, make it under 1 second if you can. But if you scroll down right here as well, what I like to also look at is how big your page size is. You're at 1.35 megabytes and 100 requests. This seems a little bit high for both of these. I like to see this under 1 megabyte and maybe only 20 or 30 requests. So let me go ahead and show you that you can see how your website's loaded with a website like GT Metrics, and it gives you a lot of good information. And as you can see, this very first entry is one of the most important things, and that's showing how long it's taking GT Metrics to reach your server and get a response back. So you're looking at 321 milliseconds. So as you can see in this audit right here, I like to keep it under 600. So you do pass there. So basically that's telling me you're on a good server. It doesn't have a lot of lag when it comes to a connection, so I think you should be good there. Load times under 3 seconds, I would say you pass that as well. So the next item is, does your website have an SSL? And it does look like everything is good. So you can always click this icon right here. As long as it shows the lock icon, you're good. You click on there and click certification is valid. And we can see that you're good until June 3rd. It looks like you're on Let's Encrypt. So this will auto renew every 3 months. So you are good to go there. Let me just put that here. And I did notice that you are using custom tags and meta descriptions. So I went to one of your articles and I can see that you have Yoast installed, so that's good. And then you have your title descriptions right here. So I can see that you're putting in stuff. The next item is, are your URLs SEO friendly? And I went to a few of your posts and yeah, it looks like this is good right here. So you're adding in, the keywords or the title of this post into your URL. So that's good. The reason why I put that is some people might have it where it's like page ID equals blah, blah, blah. You don't want that. You want to make sure that your URLs are user friendly, not only for users, to share the links and bookmark it, but also, of course, for Google, because Google wants to see some keywords in here, but don't go crazy and add too many keywords in your URLs because it can actually hurt you. So I would say you pass there. The next things are very technical. They're your sitemap and your robots txt file. So I looked, and since you have Yoast installed, I can see that your sitemap is here. So Google is able to go ahead and crawl your sitemap, and I can click on pages, and most of them are probably underneath your posts. So I can see all of your posts in here. And yeah, so that passed right there. And then I did come across your robots.txt file. So I can see, like I said, you're using Yoast. So Yoast creates this file for you. I did see something, and I wasn't quite sure why you only have the one user agent called CCBot. I looked at our robots file, and I've only really seen user agents where it's like this, where it's allowing all of the user agents. So I'm not sure if you want to look into that, if you're having any issues having different crawlers crawl your website. If you do, you're going to want to look into your robots.txt file, and you can access that all through Yoast. So I'll go ahead and say you pass that, and just kind of give you a caution for that because I'm not sure if you want to look into that CC bot thing. The next item on your list is, does the website have schema? So you can go to a website like this right here from Schema, and what it's going to do is it can test your structural data. So it's going to read the back end of your website to see if you have any schema code. So I can see you do have some schema code in here, and this looks like it's probably generated through your Yoast plugin. So I can see that you definitely have some schema in here. So this is a good thing. You can always click on here and it gives you more information about the information that you put in. So you have links to your social medias in here. So that's good. This does look pretty good. You got your organization in here. And if people aren't using Yoast, I do recommend this plugin right here called Schema Pro. We use this on some of our websites and our client websites. I like this because it can be very automated, where you can go ahead and add schema for different types of pages or posts or custom post types. It's a very automated way to do it. So I do recommend Schema Pro, and it does look like it can work with Yoast, but in a lot of cases, I'll just use Schema Pro by itself. So I'll go ahead and say you do pass here. The last thing on the list is, does the website use WebP images? And so I went through a few of your images, like your logo and a few of these, and I noticed that you're not using WebP format natively. So you can see right here, your logo is a PNG. This picture is a JPEG. I'll just try one more. This one's a JPEG as well. So I do recommend making sure that you're using WebP format, because in most cases they can be smaller than JPEG and especially PNGs. So it's definitely something that I like to recommend because it's going to lower the page size of your whole website, and that's just going to make it load faster for your users and Google. So I'll go ahead and say that caution, I did see a few WebPs in there, but most of them I think are PNGs and JPEGs. And the final part of the website audit is I like to look at accessibility. So accessibility is, of course, a huge topic and is a lot to cover. But in most cases, what I like to do is go to a website like this, and they also have a Chrome extension as well. Just put in your URL, and what it's going to do is scan your website and just kind of give you a broad overview of any technical errors it may find and any contrast errors. So the number one thing you want to make sure you look at is how many errors you have. So of course you want to make sure that you're at 0 if you can, or a very low number. And what I like about this tool is if you click where it says details, what it's going to do is give you the errors right here, and you can see that 7 of your images are missing alt text. So alt text is a very easy way to fix things. you just need to go ahead into your media library in WordPress and just add alt text. So this Chrome extension I have right here called View Image Info, you can go ahead and click that, and I can see that this image has no alt text. So if you just add alt text to this, you're going to start to pass right here. And then sometimes these scans can pick up more technical things like missing form label, and you need to go ahead in your code and just figure out where that is. So you might have to do a little bit of coding or go into your forms and make sure that you fix that. And then this right here, empty button. So the good thing about this tool is you can click this icon and it gives you information about it. But in a lot of cases, the errors are coming from alt text, and when you have a form or labels, they're just not being rendered correctly. And then underneath here, you have your contrast errors. So you have 5 contrast errors. And to me, this is a little more subjective, because if you start to mess around with your contrast, it's going to interfere with how your branding works. So you're going to have to figure out if you want to go down that rabbit hole and fix all of your contrast, but it might, change the look of your website. But what I like to do, like I said, is just try to go after these errors and just go one by one and just try to fix that. So I'll go ahead and say that that was a fail for the scan. And your alt image text, you had a few, I believe, in there, but not all of them. So you want to go ahead and just make sure you add alt text to all of them. The last item on the list is, does your website have an accessibility statement? And when I looked in your footer, I didn't see an accessibility statement down here. So if you want to have an example of what a statement like that can look like, if you go to our website, wikidesign.com, you can see in our footer we have an accessibility statement. And you can see right here, the statement is basically just saying we're trying our hardest to make sure that we're meeting these levels of ADA compliance, and if we don't, you can always contact us right here. So it's really important to have a statement like this, because if people do run into some sort of technical issue on their website, you want to make it where it's real easy for them to contact you through your website. So I'll go ahead and say fail on that one. And one other thing I noticed when I was in your footer, that your date isn't updated, and it's 2023, and then your links to your social media icons aren't working as well. So if you click on any of these, they don't go anywhere. So you're gonna want to make sure you update those as well. And I noticed that these up here as well aren't going anywhere. So just make sure that you link those up correctly.
That's it for today's video. Overall, we think that this website is a cool idea. It just needs a few tweaks to make it more user-friendly. Make sure you click the link in our description if you're interested in purchasing a website audit, so you can go through your website and see what is working well and what can be improved upon. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!